Hello everybody, today I'm going to do a walkthrough of the classic quest, Shadow Knight Epic 1.5 Innoruuk's Voice. This was done on the live servers, June 2017, using a level 85 heroic Shadow Knight. I had some help from my alt druid, who was 105, but it was mostly for porting purposes. He could have easily done this himself with just a healer mercenary. I recommend having tailoring up to 100 if you're going to start this, or you can do it later on in the quest. So let's get started. It all starts in the Plane of Knowledge, and you'll need to find a mob named Sienn Kastane, and I'll put the location up here on the map. An easy way to find out where she is just to do a find, locate Warlock Vestin, and you should be able to find her in the same area that he's in. So what you're going to want to do is hand her the item that you have gotten from your pre-quest. It's a non-functional version of Innoruuk's voice, and she'll start the quest. I'll have the lore up on the screen if you're interested in the lore of this quest. So what we'll have to do is find the Grand Librarian next. And he's at the very top of the elevator in Plane of Knowledge. You simply ask him what tome, and then find an egg, and you should get started on the quest. And the next step will be going to RCOD, the ruined city of Dranik. You're going to want to find the Murkglider breeder. So here we are in RCOD. This is coming in from the cave area, not the regular zoning area, if you're familiar with RCOD at all. So I'll show you exactly how to get there. So when you go to find this mob, there's actually two other mobs that are placeholders. There's a Murkglider creeper or a Murkglider swarmer. Eventually the breeder will spawn, so you just have to sit here and wait. So we will get there in a bit. Nothing in this zone is really like tough or anything, so you should be able to get there easily without getting destroyed. And here we are, almost at the location where the breeder spawns. So I waited here maybe 2 or 3 cycles, and eventually the breeder just spawned. Here's the location again. And eventually, there it is. Wasn't too tough of a fight for level 85. I guess he spawned some ads, so if you're on a progression server, I don't know what to tell you, bring a raid force maybe. But this is mostly for people on the live servers, people who want their alts having their epics. Maybe a fun quest for the afternoon. So eventually you'll want to loot a gluttonous Murkglider egg. We'll loot that in a second. There it is. So we will loot that and head back to the Grand Librarian in the Plane of Knowledge. And here we are back at Grand Librarian Maelin. You hand him the egg, and he will hand you a book. And the book is called The Silent Gods. Well, it's a tome. But anyways, bring it back to Sienn, the quest giver lady. And she'll want you to find 3 items, and they're all in different locations around Norath. So hand her the book. She'll want you to combine 3 items in a sewing kit and create a sheath. So we'll need to go find the 3 items that she wants. This is where you might want to work on your tailoring. If not, then you can do it in a little bit. So the first item we need is in the Plane of Nightmares. And it drops from a Gloom Nightmare. And the item is called the Gloom Nightmare Hide. And here's a location compared to where you zone in at. And it's kind of a hard location to get to because there are a lot of invisible walls. You'll actually have to go underneath a tunnel to get to the location you need. And I'll show you exactly where you need to go from the zone in, because it requires going underneath water and going through a tunnel to get to the location. So you'll have to actually go underneath the water here because there's underwater tunnels. It's quite a long run. And actually, be careful not to train anybody, because I actually had somebody down here when I was doing the quest. I was surprised to actually see somebody in the zone. Usually a lot of these old zones are empty, but there's actually somebody down here. And I'm using my druid as an example of the person running there. And he actually can lose aggro himself, so I wasn't too worried about training this poor guy. See, there's somebody actually down there. That was weird. So here we are in the tunnels. My Shadow Knight's actually over where we need to be, and my druid's just tracking him. If you actually know where the location is, feel free to fast forward through some of these slower parts of the video. I try to edit as good as I can without a lot of downtime, but I realize a lot of these locations are kind of hard to find, so it's better just to have somebody show you where it is. So finally, we come out of the tunnel, and I was surprised because the mob we needed was actually up. And I think it drops from any Gloom Nightmare, but the Gloom Nightmare hide is kind of rare to drop, so I didn't have any problems because it dropped from the first mob. So there we are. This is a location you'll want to be at, right outside the tunnel entrance. He actually looks a lot like the AA mount that we get. So there's the hide we need. And now we'll move on to the Plane of Fear. We need to loot an item called the Eye of the Dark God. And they drop from Giligatabbus Knights. Amygdalon Knights. I think that's how you pronounce it. Just run around the zone until you find the mobs that look like these guys and loot the Eye of the Dark God. Pretty easy. Now is the part that was a little bit time consuming, which is the Plane of Growth. You need to go and find a Roland steed, a Roland Plain steed, and loot a lock of blessed unicorn hair. And this part was time consuming because the hair doesn't always drop, and I think the mobs in Plane of Growth take like 20 hours to respawn, so this actually took me a couple days because I didn't get the unicorn hair from the first go through, so I had to wait like a whole day to try this again. Or maybe it's less than 20 hours, I don't know, but it definitely takes a long time to respawn. And be aware that as soon as you zone in, you get attacked by some mobs that attack anybody who's not a druid every 15 minutes or so. Okay, so there's the lock of unicorn hair. Lock of blessed unicorn hair. Finally, after a long time. And this next part I'm going to do for people who don't have their tailoring up. You'll need to get your tailoring to at least 100, and I'll give you a couple of hints and tips on how to do that quickly. So from level 1 to 66, we'll need to make woven mandrakes, and from 66 to 115, and do tailored quivers. So just do a search in Plane of Knowledge for Survey Godanos. He's an alchemy vendor, and buy mandrake roots, as many as you can. I recommend maybe 80 if you're starting out really low. Heroics start out with a tailoring skill of 25. So you'll combine 2 mandrake roots to make a woven mandrake. And you can just use the Plane of Knowledge tailoring area. If you actually have your tailoring over 100, you can skip this part. So as soon as you make your first woven mandrake, you have the recipe memorized, so just put it in the search area. Press combine, auto inventory, and there's a way to just have the window keep combining them for you. I recommend doing that. So 1 to 66 is really easy making these woven mandrakes. 66 to 115 is a little bit harder. You'll need high quality cat pelts if you're going to do the tailored quiver. So what I did was just open the bazaar window and bought as many high quality cat pelts as I could. Usually there's a ton of them on people's tunes in the bazaar area. So just buy as many of them as you can. And then buy the tailored quiver pattern from this guy. And you should be set. It'll maybe take half an hour if you're lucky with people selling high quality cat pelts. If not, you'll have to go and get them yourself or find an alternative way to get your tailoring up to 100. But I found this is the easiest way for me. Okay, keep in mind you just need to get to at least 100. You don't have to go all the way up to 115. And the next step is to create the sheath. So you'll need to combine the Gloom Nightmare Hide, the Lock of Blessed Unicorn Hair, and the Eye of the Dark God. So we created the sheath. And now we'll go back to Sienn. And we'll hand her it. At this point, she'll send us to the Plane of Valor, and we'll need to defeat a mob named Fraga. We'll need to loot Fraga's parchment. So here we are in the Plane of Valor at the Zone Inn, and he's really close by, and I'll run to him right now, show you his location. He's a froglok, or a gukton, in one of the tents. And he's right there. There was a little bit of confusion at this point because I didn't know if I had to hail him or if it was because I had Invis on. But eventually I hailed him and he attacked, or I attacked him first. So he was pretty easy. As you can see, I just harm touched him down to 15% from 85. So now you loot the parchment, and you'll return to Sienn. And give her the parchment. So go through the dialogue, and she will send you to the Plane of Nightmare again. And you'll need to locate a mob named the Wailing Sister. You'll need a rune and a sample of blood. So it's back to the PON. And I'll show you her location from the Zone Inn area. So you just go to the Zone Inn, and I'll have a map up to show you the location. Or you can just watch me run there. My druid's actually already at her spot because it helps to have a druid with tracking. A druid is like really valuable if you have a druid alt. If you don't have a druid alt, I highly recommend having one. So she's around here somewhere. I guess she wanders, so she's not like in a set spot. But she's around this general area. Somewhere around this area. There we go. Right there. And there's where I located her, if you have the same map that I do. She uses the Banshee model. So just melee her down. And once she's destroyed, loot the rune and the blood. There they are. And hand them back to Sienn. And she'll hand you a sheath Innoruuk's voice, and she'll instruct you to go to an NPC that's close by. And the NPC is Gilina Yilzor. Can't really pronounce the last name. So she should be able to help further. So really the rest of the quest, you'll be talking to this Gilina. Sorry if you guys hear sounds in the background. I don't know if that's coming through, but somebody's like mowing the lawn right outside my window. Okay, so to find her, I'll show you where to go. And it's right across the yard. So just go in this little area, this tower area, and go up to the top. And she's right there. Hand her the sheath in Rex's voice and go through the dialogue. She will instruct you to go to get the heads off of 4 Shadow Knights around Norath, and I will show you where they are. So the first area we're going to go to, the first zone, is Timorous Deep. And we'll need to find a mob named Silithis. And I'll show you exactly where to go. It's an island after you zone in. And remember to hail these 4 mobs before you attack. There's area on the map. And this mob just walks around, wanders around, so he could be anywhere on the beach. So there he is, just taking a nice leisurely stroll. Little does he know, he's going to lose his head. Alright, so lose his head and move on to the next area, which is the Ocean of Tears. As you can see on the map, the mob you need, Gubblegrot Smashfist, is right in the lower area. He's really easy to defeat. Loot his head. And now you move on to the Iceclad Ocean. This area is a little bit difficult to find, so I will use my druid to point out the exact location. So there we are at Zone In, and we need to get to one of these little islands, but it's hard to find even with like the LOC, so if you just follow exactly where I'm going, you should be able to find it. Throughout the whole quest, this has to be the most obscure like location that I had to find. It's way out of the way. This is actually where druid tracking comes in handy again. If you have a druid alt or a druid friend that can help you out. So he's on one of these islands. And there's a boat that takes you back to North Row, I think? I'm not sure. Not too familiar with Iceclad. Haven't ever spent a lot of time here. So eventually, after a very long run, you will find him wandering on one of these icebergs. Sorry this is taking so long, but it's better to watch somebody do this rather than wander around for an hour trying to find his location. So there he is. Right there. So once you defeat him, loot his head, and you're on to the next location, which is a Swamp of No Hope. You'll need to find a mob named Skurza Slicekutt. Skurza Slicekutt. And he's a troll. And I'll show you the location for him as well. Right here on the map. Around here somewhere, right there. Hail him and attack. Then after he's dead, loot his head. Now you go back to Gilina, and you hand her the 4 heads, and she'll give you a different version of the Sheath Innoruuk's voice. And now you'll need to go to Kiticor Forest, and you'll need to find a mob named Tarnamil. I think he only spawns at night. So there's a location of where he is compared to where you are at Zone End, and I will run to him so you can see exactly where he's located. So you'll need to hail him, and when you hail him, 6 paladins will spawn west of you. You'll need to defeat all of them and loot 3 bloods. It's around here somewhere. Right there, he's a skeleton model. So, hailed him, and he runs off because there are paladins around that you have to defeat. So we'll find the paladins just walking around over in this area, and What I did was just attack all 6 of them. At 85, they were really easy. Maybe have a healer mercenary up just in case. So what you'll want to do is loot 3 paladin blood samples. And once you have all 3, head back to the plane of knowledge and give the 3 blood samples and the sheath Innoruuk's voice to Gilina. And the quest is almost over at this point. What she'll want you to do is go to Western Wastes and destroy a mob named Sir Elionus Fairmont and loot the symbol that he has, the holy symbol. So I will show you exactly where to go from the zone in. He's actually really close to the zone in. He's probably the hardest mob in this whole quest, but he's still really easy for a level 85 heroic. So we'll be coming up on him in a second or two. He's just left of the zone out to that cave. Well, the exit to the cave, not the zone out. So he should be around here by a tree. There he is. So hail him and he'll attack you. So after he is dispatched, loot the holy symbol. A little bit of the fight. Okay, so loot the symbol. And a chest will spawn after he's dead. At least it's dead for me. So there's a chest that spawns. Now go back to Plane of Knowledge. And you just hand her the symbol. And you have your Epic 1.5. You don't have to say Vision because I think that's the start of Epic 2.0. Which I will do someday. But for right now, the Epic 1.5 quest is complete. Overall, it was a pretty easy quest. It was pretty neat. I wasn't expecting a two-hander, but I guess that's what it was. Thanks for watching, everybody.